In this video, I want to give you guys a tour of my home YouTube studio. Look, this is where I do all my video recording, editing, my live streaming, and all of my gameplay recording. I wanted to show you guys how I've optimized this space, and I can get a bunch of different YouTube angles and different studio setups from just this small office space, and it's made my workflow so much more efficient. So the number one thing that I did in my office that created so much more space on the floor or on my desktop was mount everything that I needed for my main talking head to my desk. So I did that by using the live broadcast arm by Ulanzi. I'll link it down below in the description. Yes, everything I link down there is an affiliate link. So, you know, a little bit comes back to me. But this thing really is a game changer. I was able to mount my light, my camera, and my microphone all to one spot on my desk. And then I'm able to articulate it all the way around, you know, however I want. I can actually use it in a different setup if I need to on the other side of my desk. So I'm telling you guys, this has opened up so much more space for me in my office and on my desk. I don't have the clutter on my desktop. I don't have the tripods and the light stands and all that stuff that I'm tripping over. Everything is just mounted onto the desk. You know, I leave it all set up, and then when I'm ready to record a video, I just hit one button, boom, I'm ready to go. So this next setup is still another talking head, but I have a big empty open desk area here where I can review all my products, do my how-to videos, and I can set my camera up to do overhead shots. I did that in my last video when I installed an AIO cooler on my PC. So for this setup, I'm using the Canon EOS R, and I've got the 16-35 f2.8 on here. With that wide angle lens on there, it makes the room feel a whole lot bigger, gives you that kind of YouTube vibe, and it also allows me to keep all my equipment a lot closer to me. I can reach out and touch the lens right here, and I've got my tripod, my light, my boom arm for my mic, everything right up here on the desk, so I'm not tripping over everything when I'm out in the office. With this setup, I've got a big octabox right here just out of frame, and then I've also got my mic boomed right here, just out of frame as well. So I've got three different stands. They're all tucked in nice and neat to the desk here with me, so I don't have to worry about tripping over them. I can leave them set up right where they are, and I can have this one and the previous setup all ready to go, just the push of a couple buttons, and I can start recording. Also with this setup, I'm using a different microphone. I'm using a shotgun microphone right above me, which is going to be run right into my camera. So that's going to be all recorded right there on the camera itself. It makes it a lot easier to edit. I don't have to go into another software to edit if I want to use my dynamic microphone, which I use for my main talking head. That dynamic microphone is also going to get in the way if I have it set up right here and I'm talking into it and I'm trying to show you guys a product. Now, I may use that in the future, but right now I'm going to just be using the shotgun microphone for this setup. That's going to take me on to the next setup. So this is just another talking head, but this gives me a little more dynamic look, a little bit better background. I've got my computer, my setup, a couple more lights. You can see some of the sound treatment behind me. I use this scene just to break up the story, just to break up my videos. That way everything doesn't seem the same, and it doesn't get monotonous. You know, this way you get a different view of me and the setup, and I'm not just always sitting in front of my computer talking to you. So this setup is being shot on the Canon EOS R from my previous setup. I've also got the Deity shotgun mic on top of it. Everything's going to be linked down below. It's a little more cumbersome to set up because I have to bring everything over here. I don't have a dedicated camera. I have to use that setup over here on this side. I do have a dedicated tripod and some lighting over here, so all I have to do is make sure that the camera is pointed in the right direction, the microphone is turned on, and I can just hit record and I can start my next YouTube video. So I also have my old gaming laptop over here. That way I can read my scripts, or if I need to do a little bit of research while I'm recording a video over here, I can do it quickly and not have to bounce back and forth between computers and setups. It also does double duty as my kids' gaming setup too when I'm not using this area. So that's going to take us to the last and final spot. All right, so for this final setup, this is what I call the ugly couch setup. It's a little more intimate. This is you and me. I can reach over here and just zoom in, and then we can talk. We can have a little bit more of an intimate conversation. If I want to talk about current events or if I want to vent about something, this is a good scene where I can do it. That way I'm a little more closer with you guys. I like this area too because it kind of gets me away from the desk. It gets me away from where I'm normally sitting and working all day long. So I can kind of kick back and relax and just talk to you guys here. So what I do for this setup is I just stick the tripod and the boom arm that I use. So what I do for this setup is I just take the tripod that I use for the overhead setup, I move it over a little bit, it's right next to where it normally is. I set it up right here in front of me. Again, I can reach out and touch it. I'm using that wide angle lens again. I can take that big octabox that I use for my other setups. I just swing it around, crank it up a little bit, it lights me just fine. It's the same thing that I do with the boom arm. The boom arm is right here, the microphone's right here. This is my shotgun microphone. I've got it just spun around facing the opposite direction, and the microphone is just right above me talking. So these are 4 different setups that I can have up and running within 5 minutes. So you just got to get creative with the space that you have. You know, just do a different camera angle. Point your camera at the corner. Point your camera at your desk. Point it away from the desk. Move it back. Just get creative. Another thing that we need to talk about when making YouTube videos is the acoustics of the room. So this is a fairly big room. I've got hard floors, hard surfaces everywhere. I'm sure you can hear a little bit of reverb and echo. Also around, I'm sure you've seen that I have sound treatment all over the place in here. I've set it up a little bit more for aesthetic reasons. I think it looks a lot better the way that I set it up, but it probably doesn't function the way that it needs to. I've got it on the walls, I've got it on the ceiling. It looks neat, and I'm sure it is helping out some. I'm sure it can't hurt, right? Another thing that you could do is get a rug or a moving blanket or something like that, put it on the floor, put it right next to where you are, kind of encapsulate yourself, and that's gonna help you out with a lot of the sound. So if you guys got any other cool ideas or any other hacks that you want to share with me, let me know down in the comments down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.